right, Nancy, great to be here. It's wonderful working with you again, and wonderful to work with your just fantastic school that I've come to learn a bit through the beginning parts of this search. We're excited to help you here with an important hire for you, a chief financial officer for the school. Um, Want to just though first talk about you and your background and what drew you both to Island School, but also the beautiful state of Hawaii and the wonderful island of Kauai.
Thanks, Gabe. I am so excited to work with you on this process. Honestly, there's nothing, I don't know, every position's important, but for me as head of school and as a new head of school, the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, I'm not sure there's another more critical partner in the day-to-day survival of a new head of school. So this role is really important to me in this moment to hire. And we've gone through a transition of after only a year. So it's an important round. So I'm grateful to be in this process with you. I will back up a little bit and say a little bit about myself and how I got to Island School. It's sometimes when I think about the story, I marvel myself that I am here in a place I never would have imagined. I had never visited Kauai before I interviewed. I had been to Hawaii only a few times, and the first time was with family. So I was to visit cousins in Oahu, but really I had only, very tangentially been connected to Hawaii. So I have been across my career, and I've had wonderful long stints at the Athenian School in the Bay Area, at the San Francisco School, and the majority of my career has been in the San Francisco Bay Area. I grew up in the East Bay. I'm a Northern California, East Bay person. I had about 5 years or so on the East Coast for graduate school, undergrad, and my first jobs in New York. So I've had, time outside of California, but when it was time to come build my career, grow with my family, it was time to come home. And so that was my plan. I was going to stay in the Bay Area for a long time. And then when in my career, when it became time to look for, I was ready to transition. I was assistant head of school and head of middle school at the San Francisco School. I was looking at different headship opportunities and what might be right for me and my family. And remarkably, the position statement for Island School came across my screen, and I saw this photo of the students here. They had just won a regional championship in outrigger canoe paddling. And this photo was so arresting for me because I looked at the photo. Here was a collection of young people that looked like me, looked like my children, looked like my family. And I just was thinking, wait a minute, what would that be like to be at a school that I really represented or looked like the young people in so many different ways? And I knew Kauai had a pretty big Filipino population, as well as I've been familiar with some of the program partnerships, like the partnerships with Kamehameha schools. And so as I kept reading more, I just turned to my husband and I said, I think I could do this. And the fact that is a preschool all the way to 12th grade, the fact that I could actually really bring my whole self in a very different way as an educator, it just was too good to turn down. And so there I was, I'm like, well, I'll just go for it. I've never been to Kauai, and visited, fell in love with the place and the school. And it really has changed my life. I've never been more connected to both time outside of work and the meaningfulness of what I do with my time and what I'm able to do with my time, as well as the value of the work I do every day in the school. So it's been a real gift to be at Island School, and I'm coming up, it's hard to believe I'm coming up at the end of my first year. And it's been remarkable and wonderful. Normal challenges and all the things that are normal part of school. That part was really familiar. There's not been real surprises in that way because I've had a lot of years in schools, basically 30 years working in schools. But what is most remarkable about this place is the life beyond work and what that has been like to build with my family and for me.
That's outstanding. Really appreciate that story. And you talked a little bit about the remarkable nature of the school and how the first year of school is generally what you expected, but it's a fantastic community. So give folks who have never been to the school just a sense of what it's like to walk the halls or walk the outdoors and the paths between the buildings, and just get a sense of the school, the community, and just especially for a CFO candidate who might be thinking about the size and the sort of the magnitude of the school, and just sort of what the physical plant is like and other aspects that
Sure.
would help somebody get a sense of the great community.
Great. Glad to talk about it. It's an incredible 38-acre campus right in Lihue, which is basically in the one main big town in Kauai, and about 10 minutes from the airport. We sit adjacent to Kauai Community College. And so it's a very private space, almost secluded. Like you really have to know where you're going to find it, not in a bad way, but in a way that lets us have the comfort of really small town school in a wonderful way, and all the ways that can be wonderful. Kids come from all over the island, and we have a transportation department, so busing is critically important. Some of our kids are on the bus for between 45 minutes to an hour. Some use the island public transportation to get to us. All the way from north, Haena, if you know the island at all the way north of Haena, past Hanalei, and then all the way west to Kika and the towns all the way far west. We represent across the island. Big population, of course, in Lihue and Kapa, the bigger towns, and Southside and Poipu. But it's a wonderful showing of Kauai. The campus itself, 38 acres, many athletic fields, vast athletic fields, and we both have a soccer field, a full soccer field, a practice field, a newly installed baseball field. We have a competitive size gymnasium. We have a Hawaiian Cultural Center building. Our buildings are in solid condition, and we have a brand new classroom building. We just opened this fall, 6 classrooms plus a maker studio. So we have both sort of wonderful new spaces, some loved spaces, and we have our administrative building. We're not fancy in that way on some level, because our administrative building is actually a converted when a construction company was building one of the resort locations, they had office buildings that were temporary for them, and when they were completed the project, it was at the time we were opening this campus. So we're actually repurposed buildings for our administrative building, and so that's something the CFO, that's a part of the work, the complexities of buses, that we don't buy brand new buses. We're not a big budget school. Our tuition is under 20,000. So, and we give financial aid to over half of our families. And so, half of our families participate in our financial aid program. And so the combination of all those things is we need to be strategic and diligent and thoughtful about how we intentionally allocate our budget. And that is critically important work that the CFO and I do together to make the most out of the school. And so the campus itself, beautiful. There's a pond, there's everything grows. The students are building a garden. We have what we call the Emu Palace, where it's an outdoor, basically traditional Hawaiian emu underground roasting pit. And so, wonderful, wonderful things here for the environment of what it means to go to school here. It's a beautiful place to go to school, and there's a lot to take care of in good ways. And there's a great partner in the admissions, interesting combined position, admissions and financial aid and campus operations director. He collaborates with the CFO to make sure all the needs happen across their two departments for the care of the school. And the CFO, of course, does a lot on the financial side to make sure that happens.
Outstanding. And talking about what's happened or what will be happening, what's going to be happening, just as you enter your next chapter of leadership and kind of where you see the school headed, just to close our conversation here with some things that you're hoping the CFO will be a part of in the coming years, priorities for you that are very important, either at a very strategic level with the board and where things are headed, all the way down to operational things that you just know a good CFO partner is going to be essential for you on.
Thanks. I think the most important work right now is the attention to faculty compensation and benefits. And what does that mean? And how are we going to strategically approach those challenges in a way that sustains and is sustainable for the school across the years in the context that we have? It's a very interesting and challenging puzzle. And so whoever's coming on board, they ought to really like working puzzles and problem solving and creative problem solving with me and the finance chair of the board, with educating the community, being partner with me of educating the community and what the challenges are and what the opportunities are. We also have a fantastic person who oversees our HR program. And so there's really a financial team that we work together on those issues. But Kauai is facing, just like much of Hawaii, but Kauai, in my opinion, it's acute in its own way because of where we are. The cost of living, the complexities of real estate, and external communities and local communities, and people who move to the island, people who've lived here for generations, the balance of those things, the connection to the land, and how to make sure our professional community can have thriving lives here in Kauai. That is a challenge we are moving through right now, and we're working really hard to do that. We made some great strides. It's a clear priority of the board. We're about to complete our accreditation process for our 7-year accreditation. So next year we'll complete that process. So the new CFO will be a part of that. From there, that will help feed our strategic plan and look at strategic initiatives in terms of how are we going to creatively approach compensation and benefits. Is that looking at issues of housing? Is that looking at issues of what's the role of tuition remission? All those kind of big issues in that way to retain both attract great folks and retain them through the profession. So I would say that's the biggest one. There's everyday practical solutions that must be paid attention to. What's the balance of buying a new bus or paying for repairing the old one? What's the balance of when do we invest in a part of a building, or when are we looking at paying attention to the refurbishing the kitchen, or really needing to look at if we're going to feed all our students, if we're growing a little, if we're growing, we're hopefully going to grow over the next 5 years, probably to hit our cap around 250 in the high school, probably somewhere in there. So how do we do that in a way that sustains the program and the opportunities there for students and faculty? So those are the big questions I'm excited to work on. And really, how do we enter? We're about to turn 50 as an institution. And so that means we have this moment of building on the the foundation that has been established by the folks that came before us and creating a thriving, sustainable program. And that is what I think the CFO is going to get to do in this position and in an exciting moment.
That's excellent. Well, it sounds very exciting, both the work that is happening now and coming up, and all through a wonderful community that has been welcoming to you, and has brought forth such a great just sense of joy and wonder and whatnot. And looking forward to helping you all find a great CFO partner to help the school in its next chapter. So just want to thank you, Nancy, for your time here today. And we look forward to working with you, and excited to continue this search. But thanks again for sure.
Thanks, Gabe.